Howdy boys, just wanted to make a quick little video about the 19s and their transmission issues. We're gonna get to driving, so before we do that, I'm gonna show you that this thing's not a 68, it's in fact an Aisin. Oh snap, I forgot this thing's remote started. Aisin. So there you have it. It's an Aisin transmission. I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, the Chryslers are recalled. Maybe you sure you got an Aisin? So we get that thing out of the way. Let's, hang on tight. Alright, boys, I wanted to start out by telling you, before I go talking about problems, and a lot of times people talking about the problems looks like their sounds looks like they're complaining, and I wanted to make it very clear. I'm very fortunate, and I'm very thankful to have such a vehicle, to have a 19 Ram 3500 being a limited trim package. You know, it's fairly premium for the lineup. Actually, it's the top of the line. This is a level 2 in the tech package. I don't know if you guys, well, those guys that have ordered a limited, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is as high end, as limited as you could have. MSRP on this one's almost 87,000, and no, it's not a dually. So I don't know, in this video, if I might park and go through the glove box, I think I have my window sticker in there to show you guys. But that's not the point of this video. Making it very clear and very focused, this video is going to be about transmission issues. Not just this truck. Keep in mind, I own a total of 3 19s, all being Aisins. 2 of them got transmission issues. So yeah, putting it out there, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm just going to be talking about serious problems that these trucks have, and yeah, just so you guys hear from me, I'm super thankful and fortunate to have a truck like this. This truck has served me well, but it has my head spinning around. So let's talk about the issue. The first one I bought was this one. This is my personal limited. You know, it's really nice inside. Even got the whole stitching and the label here, and it's a nice truck. The interior's super, the engine's super, everything's good besides the transmission. For some reason, the Japs, yes, Aisin is a Japanese transmission, and the Americans, being Chrysler, Fiat, or however you want to put it on, can't communicate. And then when you put another American company in here, I believe Cummins is American, I'm not confused, not mistaken. Cummins is tricky, but anyways, let's just say Cummins. So you got 3 companies, somehow they're not communicating. And here it goes. On this truck, when I initially bought it in tow haul mode, it was wild. What I mean by wild, it was always high revving, as if it's end of the world. It has to stop you with all its might when it comes to exhaust braking and transmission downshifting. So what I'm particularly saying, and what I've noticed, if the truck engages the exhaust brake, like you're coming down a hill and the computer's seeing that you're not knocking off speed quick enough, it will pin it, like redline the piss out of that engine, grab the lowest gear it can, and just madly try to stop you. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, and that should be part of the tuning, but come on, for the love of whatever you guys love out there, engineers, just use your brain. I mean, here, let me show you something. See? Now, it's showing you how much brakes I'm applying, okay? If you could put a gauge on there, relate that into your tuning. Let's just hypothetically say, right now, anything over 20% of applied brake, all of a sudden you're going to redline. Take that crap all the way to like 70-80% braking. Like, if someone's hitting on his brakes that hard, then pin it. Then downshift the piss out of it, but not from the very get-go. The feeling I'm getting, like, you're coming down a pretty sharp hill, or coming down a hill with the gooseneck, like in my case a gooseneck and fairly well loaded, and you hit the brakes, you tap the brakes. So I'm not saying hit, apply, or should I say jab your brakes. I'm saying just slightly tap your brakes like I like to do to let the exhaust brake know, hey, I want you to engage and start getting to work, kind of deal, you know what I mean? So anyways, so at that point it just starts doing wild things. I got it updated. I got this transmission, TCU, whatever they want to call it, updated probably about 3 months ago, roughly. My memory serves me well. It got better. It absolutely got better. I can't say it's the same exact thing, but in extreme cases it will do the same darn thing, and it's usually when I'm really heavy and I'm going through the pass. A lot of times I'll just shut down the tow haul mode because it's so annoying. It'll be jamming gears so hard and slamming them. It's not as far as slamming, it's the uncomfort. I mean, I don't feel comfortable with this thing pinning it to red line. It's unnecessary. Let's say you're starting to go down a hill and you're starting to accelerate. Yeah, like drop down a gear. And so what I'm trying to apply is it is completely software. Just the engineering isn't there. The tuning isn't there. Whatever you want to put it. All along, I was fairly certain it wasn't me, but because I was messing around with this truck, I wasn't gonna jump to the conclusion. Keep in mind, guys, I am done messing with this truck. This truck is 100% stock. Everything's original on it besides the suspension, okay? And this thing is still lost. When it comes to heavy towing in the past, it's a nightmare. But something else came up. As you're coming to an intersection, this thing likes to lurch, buck, whatever you want to put it. But the simplest way I could explain it is the clutch is not getting depressed all the way in a manual vehicle, so it still has traction, and it starts, the truck starts shaking, and it rarely does it do it violently, but most of the time it just does it enough where it's annoying. Like you gotta apply the brakes harder because you're gonna plow in someone's rear end, and this thing starts doing it in the last second. Let's just say the last couple miles an hour as you're coming to a gradual stop, and it keeps wanting to push you. So that's why I'm saying lurching, bumping, whatever you want to call it. Start doing that. It comes, it goes. It seems like if I do like a bunch of highway driving, it sort of goes away. As soon as I start doing a bunch of city driving where it needs to engage and disengage, I guess, it reminds itself that it has a problem, and let's drive Paul crazy kind of deal. So with that in mind, I mean, it could be the solenoid on torque. I don't know. I am not a guru when it comes to these transmissions. I have a lot of experience with the 4th gens, these 5th gens. I'm still puzzled. My head's spinning around. So with that in mind, I knew I was getting the first year, but it's still upsetting. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's a simple fix. And the fact that, I mean, it's an issue with these trucks, and it's not a self-afflicted issue with me messing with whatever and me trying to test stuff, is I got a phone call. Well, I've got numerous phone calls from my driver saying, hey man, this transmission is just weird. It's not leaving me stranded on the side of the road, but it's just acting weird. It's inconsistent. Like the 4 gens, they're very consistent. This thing's like sort of all over the place. I'm like, dude, if it drives, just keep driving. Is it slamming gears? Not so much. He's like, but it's inconsistent. I'm like, just keep driving. This is a very picky driver. There's specific reasons why I gave this guy the first 19 I had, because he's the guy that's the guy to pick on stuff, just like myself. So I'm like, thanks for the phone call. But recently, this last week, he calls me. He's like, Paul, this thing slammed hard. Like, I thought I was gonna lose the rear drive, the axle drive, not the drive shaft. He's like, I thought I was gonna lose my rear axle. He's like, I just put it in reverse and it just slammed violently again. What do you want me to do? I feel like it was just self-destruct. I'm like, well, that's awkward. Just like me, what has helped me is by pulling off the battery terminals. That's what I told him. Like, can you leave it parked? He's like, yeah, I'm at the yard. I'm trying to hook up a trailer. I'm like, dude, just put it in park, shut her down, and pull the battery terminals, both negative battery terminals, for a couple minutes, and hook it back up, call me back. And he calls me back like half an hour later. Yeah, Paul, everything's good. I hooked up. This thing's moving just fine, like nothing ever happened. Is it a glitch? Is it a sock? Like, what the frick is going on, Ram? Why are you allowing your name to be, you know what I mean? Like, it's clearly in engineering. It's clearly communication. Something's going on. I've heard, I don't know for a fact, I've heard Ram released again another update for these Aisin transmissions. So, am I frustrated? Oh yeah, I am super frustrated with these Aisin transmissions. There's a reason why I showed you beginning of this video. This is not a Chrysler. It's not a 68 RFE. This is an Aisin, and I only run Aisins. My regulars know that. For those guys that don't know, pop the hood. If the dipstick to you standing in front of your engine is to the right, so on the driver's side you got an Aisin. If it's on the passenger side or to the left of you, it's a Chrysler. You don't You don't trust me? Check it out. Pop the hood yourself and see for yourself. But anyways, those are my issues. These 19s got other issues. I'm just going to keep them out of this video. I'm going to keep this video solely dedicated to the transmission. These things have not let us stranded on the side of the road. I mean, my second truck that I've owned has had the slamming, gear slamming. It always had the lost. The driver's like, dude, this transmission's lost. Like, and it's always in the sense when you're loaded and you're trying to slow down. It just does dumb stuff. It's never on the XL like acceleration. It's always on the decel, and it just doesn't know how to properly use the exhaust brake and downshift itself like the Ford Gen does. It's just dead on. So that screams tuning. That screams people need to get their crap together. And I think we're close, but those are my issues. I want to be transparent. I want you guys to know what you're going to run into. Here's a kicker. Here's something else. Now, I am not 100% sure, but this is the outcome that I have and the feeling that I have. There's two reasons why I'm not 100% sure. I'm underlining something here. My first truck, this truck, was built in 3 of 19. Third month of 19, okay? My second truck that I've purchased was built third month of 19. The last truck I purchased, I think it was built 8th month of 19. The last truck I purchased, as soon as it came to the dealer lot, I already picked it up. So, and I do not have anything to say about the third truck I've purchased for two reasons. I want to believe it was a later production and they fixed it. They just don't, you know how manufacturers are. They're not going to tell you, hey, there was an issue, we fixed it. They're just going to keep improving and then just keep bringing out, shoot, sorry guys, my camera work sucks. And then they'll give you a recall and hopefully slowly fix it. Second thing is that driver, he's not mechanically inclined. He just doesn't understand mechanics. Either it goes or it doesn't. Either it shifts or it doesn't. Either it starts or it doesn't. That kind of guy. Very good gentleman. I've showed you one of these videos. He's keeps the equipment just spotless. Like if I were to pull up to him right now and open his door, his truck would be good as new inside. It just keeps it spotless. Yeah, I've made a video on that truck for sure. I've showed you how I have WeatherTech floor mats to protect the carpet, right? And then he has another towel, rag, whatever you want to call it, on top of my weather floor mats, just so his WeatherTech floor mats don't get dirty. He's just one of them guys, you know. Super awesome dude. So what I'm guessing is Aisin fixed it, or Chrysler, or excuse me, Ram or Fiat fixed it. Whoever's in charge of tuning and connecting the dots so the transmission and the truck communicate. I want to say it has been fixed in the later 19s or late 19s, but I don't know for a fact. I also have not towed with my third truck, so just like I said, I just don't know for a fact, but I am getting the feeling the later 19s don't have this issue. So I'm going to keep y'all updated. I know I've been complaining for the last X amount of minutes. I guess I'm frustrated. Yes, I'm upset, or whatever you want to label it. I'm just speaking straightforward, and I'm telling you how it is and what it is. I love the engine. I really like the truck. I'm super happy with everything but the lost transmission when you're heavily loaded and you're trying to decel. To aid it, I just get it out of tow haul mode coming down hills, and I sort of control it with this little dude, you know, downshift, upshift kind of deal, and it does the trick. But why do I have to do that? Isn't that why we have engineering and tuning and all that stuff? So once again, my lurching forward might be an isolated issue. Me pulling the terminals on my batteries, my negatives, reset that. I don't have the issue now, but it will come. I know it will come. And then the second thing is it being lost. It seems like this truck has it, and my second truck has it. And yes, my second truck, by the way, got an update, and it was literally 2 days later than it just did this random buck and put itself in limp mode. So whatever happened there. Anyways, boys, that's my update on the 19s. That's the transmission part. More parts to come of the 19s. So yeah, as always, may the Lord bless you, and may y'all have a mighty fine day. Ciao, bye.